It's just kind of who I am. I want to pour into my team as much as possible, and I'm pretty in tune with my body. I can read a room pretty well, and so when I see we're lacking a little bit, you got to step up. But if we're good, you're just there to encourage and give people confidence.
Everyone thought they understood Sophie Cunningham's motivation for joining the Indiana Fever. Protect Caitlin Clark. Be the enforcer and keep the child safe. But Cunningham's latest disclosure defies all of our assumptions. We knew they were working together. This comeback against the New York Liberty that resulted in a career high. 6 3-pointers for 21 points. She scored an incredible three-pointer with just over a minute left to give the Phoenixes an 83-82 victory. Even though Kahleah Copper scored 38 points to upset Atlanta 88-85 in 2024, Cunningham made the pivotal threes in the waning minutes. She was designated as the sixth starter by coach Nate Tibbetts because she was so crucial. She always delivered when her number was called. 4 stretches, she switched games without touching the ball. The game that made Cunningham a household name overnight takes place on June 17, 2025, between the Connecticut Sun and Indiana Fever. When J.C. Sheldon poked Clark in the eye during a furious argument, Cunningham felt something. Cunningham went into full enforcer mode, jawing at the Sun's bench, getting in faces, jumping between players, and making it very clear that no one was hurting her star without consequences. This resulted in the most viral moment of the WNBA season. The internet went crazy, the seats were empty, and tensions broke out. Her TikTok following grew from 300,000 to 1.4 million in a few of days. In a matter of hours, her jersey sold out across the country. Sports networks broadcast the video continuously. People were now watching her guardian instead of just Clark. The role of enforcer has officially become commonplace. Defending Clark on the court was just the beginning of Cunningham's narrative, which became the talk of the town. The league itself took sides after Cunningham attacked the commissioner. WNBA spokesperson Cathy Engelbert allegedly told players during talks that Caitlin Clark should be grateful for the platform the league gave her, as if Clark owed the WNBA anything for allowing her to play. Cunningham would not tolerate it. On Instagram, she called Engelbert the most gullible employer in professional sports. People only know Cathy because of C, she said. The shots were deliberate, direct, and intimate. Cunningham backed it up with undeniable numbers. During her first campaign, Clark appeared in 21 of the 24 games that drew more than 1 million viewers. Due in great part to the Clark effect, the WNBA signed a $2 billion media pact that gave the league unprecedented exposure. Cunningham made sure that everyone knew how out of date it sounded as ticket sales skyrocketed, goods flew off the shelves, and the commissioner was acting as if Clark owed them. She spoke what had to be said without thinking about the consequences. Think about what Clark truly accomplished for the league. She became the first player to surpass the Division I scoring record of 3,151 points held by Pete Maravich. Become the first player in the men's or women's NCAA competition to record a 40-point triple-double. The first player in the women's competition to score 40 points in a row. 3,000 points, 1,000 assists, and 800 rebounds make him the best player in the first division. She led Iowa to 2 straight national championship contests. The most watched women's collegiate basketball game ever was the 2024 championship game, which garnered 18 viewers. 9 million people watched her jersey, which later became the best-selling item. Collegiate athlete merchandise on Fanatics surpassed Shatter Sanders. State Farm appointed her as its first-ever collegiate athletic ambassador. Her NIL was valued at $3.4 million, the most amount of any female collegiate athlete. Basketball players. The women's basketball team at Iowa earned $3.26 million, the greatest amount in history, by selling out their entire ticket program. Before joining the WNBA and continuing to rule, she did more than just play basketball. She changed the game forever. She became the first rookie to score a triple-double, broke the rookie scoring mark, and set single-game and single-season records. The league pretended that she should give them credit even though she set assist records, won Rookie of the Year, and was chosen for the All-WNBA first team. Cunningham disagreed with the commissioner and spoke up when no one else did because she could see right through it. Criticizing the officials was Cunningham's signature tactic. In interviews and on social media, she was the most vocal critic of the referees for failing to protect Clark from overly harsh play during her rookie campaign. The controversial no calls piled up. Hard fouls remained unpunished, risky moves were written off as normal contact, and Cunningham persisted in raising his voice week after week. When she disagreed with referees, even if it meant damaging her reputation, she received technical fouls. She didn't care. Joakim Noah, a former NBA enforcer, had predicted months earlier that the Heat desperately needed someone like Cunningham, someone who would actively participate in the game instead of just playing alongside Clark. At every game, shield her from the chaos that surrounded her. Regardless of the consequences, Cunningham fully embraced that stance. She evolved into the experienced speaker who could convey what the novice had to swallow, the voice that Clark was unable to have. But there was more to Clark and Cunningham's friendship than just disagreements and scandal. A genuine connection that surfaced at the most unexpected moments, like when Cunningham was teased on Instagram by Clark for spelling 4 as 4 while playing golf. In answer, Cunningham chuckled and called herself a fool. They were just two friends having a good time as they caddied together at the Anika without any ego or defensive posture. During the Pro-Am competition, they were laughing and trash-talking as though they had been friends for years instead of just a few months. The cameras caught them in unguarded times, clearly enjoying each other's company off the basketball floor. The friendship and enforcer demeanor were real. These weren't just colleagues posing for the cameras. The protection was made even more genuine by the fact that they went out, texted, and genuinely enjoyed each other. Cunningham was protecting her friend because she was willing to challenge authority, not because management had told her to. She publicly questioned the WNBA's choice of expansion sites, citing Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia as questionable options. Cunningham was virtually accused of being a hypocrite by Cleveland's social media team, which reacted angrily by posting a video of Clark praising their city. However, she refused to back down because she had previously shown that she wasn't afraid to pursue the commissioner. Why would she be afraid of the social media team? Fans loved her for her boldness, which grew to define her brand. She expressed what other athletes were thinking but were reluctant to voice. She evolved into a player who cared more about telling the truth than winning over the league's management. Furthermore, that sincerity resonated with individuals in a league that often felt overly regulated and political. At this point, the story takes an unexpected turn. Her podcast, Show Me Something, became a must-listen for listeners looking for unvarnished opinions on what was really happening in the WNBA. She was already a tremendous fan of Caitlin Clark before Cunningham wore a Fever jersey and the trade even started to circulate in league circles. She continued to dress like a Phoenix Mercury in 2024. In an interview, Cunningham expressed her desire to play alongside Clark in the future. Her representative didn't tell her this as a well-crafted PR statement. "I'm a huge fan, and once the trade was finalized, I never said anything about anyone." A seasoned athlete watching a collegiate phenom dominate the game expressed genuine gratitude in this way. Cunningham watched Clark's Iowa games and assessed her range, handle, and court vision. Something unusual caught her attention. Cunningham wanted the enforcer role that everyone talks about before anyone else. Even acknowledged its existence. She made a move. She made it come to life. The arrangement that seemed like a straightforward basketball strategy from Indiana's Cunningham was more than just getting the bodyguard inside the front office. It was the fulfillment of her dream. Assignment. She genuinely asked for it. Think about that for a moment. A seasoned veteran who lived in Phoenix for 6 years recently consented to a contract extension through 2025 because she was enthusiastic about the organization and Matt Ishbio's objectives for the team. She saw Phoenix as a second home. But that's not normal when the opportunity to play with Clark came up. Usually, players don't push their favorite teams away. She jumped to the chance to serve as a rookie's bodyguard, but Cunningham did because the player, not the role, was the primary focus. She trusted Caitlin Clark before the world caught up, before the $2 billion contract, and before the sold-out stadiums. Cunningham sensed the celebrity coming and wanted to be part before all of this. That's the real story that nobody is talking about. Cunningham was Diana Taurasi's backup for the majority of her time in Phoenix. She learned from one of the most successful people in history. She learned from DT how to manage the mental games, maintain readiness, and endure the highs and lows that come with fighting for minutes. After 2 or 3 years of employment, Cunningham finally found herself in the starting lineup, and she never took anything for granted. She knew what it's like to wait and wonder if your number will ever be called. She understood the tales Cunningham had dealt with because she maximized her shot. Clark was coping with physical play, scrutiny, and pressure. Throughout her career, she was dubbed unpleasant, violent, and petty, but she never changed who she was. She understood exactly what to do in the event of such mistreatment after seeing Clark deal. Her experience in Phoenix teaches you to defend yourself at all costs, stand up, and fight back. All the information you require regarding her journey. After 6 seasons with the squad, she became the player with the longest tenure in the Valley. She had seen the best and worst of the Mercury, with the exception of Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi. Despite the drama, roster, coaching, and ownership changes she had gone through, she was still ready. She persevered and became the player that all rivals wanted. The guard's versatility allowed him to perform multiple duties. A savvy shooter who made timely shots and a hustler who put in all the effort would be beneficial to any championship. Squad would long for it. And when she had the opportunity to play with someone she really liked. Everyone is on edge because of this twist. Both Clark and Cunningham suffered. She didn't think twice. Injuries that finished the season in 2025. The seemingly unbeatable pair faced a difficult challenge. During a game against Connecticut, Brea Hartley fell and slid onto Cunningham's leg, injuring her right knee's MCL. She disclosed on her podcast that she was devastated that her first season with Clark was coming to an early end. This opportunity, which she had been waiting years for, came to an abrupt end. Clark also sustained an injury later in the season. Together, these two players were expected to change the WNBA, both as spectators and on the sidelines. The speculative scenarios started to pile up immediately. How far could they have gone and what harm might they have caused if they had stayed well? Have performed throughout the postseason, but rather than health or recuperation timetables, the real uncertainty is about the future. Cunningham's return to Indiana is uncertain because she is a free agent. According to her own words,